Hey guys, I'm going to show you how to change a tire on your motorcycle by yourself. I didn't do the video on removing it. I didn't think about it until afterwards. I already got my back tire done. Thought it'd be a good idea to show you how I do my tires. I'm sure there's 50 different home remedies for this. I'm going to show you how I work it. Very first thing you want to do is remove the guts from your valve stem to deflate the tire. So you just have a valve stem tool here to unscrew the guts. On the rear tire, you have to use this short stubby one on, see if you can get it in the camera there. On the front tire, I can fit my longer handle one there because these spokes are too close together to use a short one. So I'm going to put my longer handled one in there. Just be careful you don't lose it, it'll come flying out of there. So just in case you've never done this before, there's what that looks like. Now if you're running an inner tube, next thing you got to do is loosen up this nut that's on your valve stem. You don't have to take it completely off right now. Just loosen it up, just so when we unseat the bead, we don't damage this if it snags the tube inside there. We want the tube to have a little free play inside the wheel there. That's all. Now, next step for me is I use a shop press. I'm going to show you how I do this. A shop press and a 2x4. So I'm going to head out to the shed and we'll go from there. Okay, so here we are out in the shed. I just have a couple boards here, 2x6s. I just put the rim on this just so I don't damage it. I did take my brake disc off. I don't know if it's really necessary. You'd have to measure the distance from the wheel to the disc to see if it's going to interfere with the boards or not. You don't want to bend that, obviously. It's easier just to take it off, so I just removed it. So I just set my wheel in here, and I take a 2x4 as far across the wheel as I can. Just be careful that you're not on the edge of the rim here. I got the 2x4 right up against it, and all I'm going to do is use the shop press here to push this 2x4 down and break that bead. Now, this being a front tire, didn't take much. It's practically, well, on this side it is already all the way off. On your rear tire, when you push down on this, you can feel your hands in there. Once it's below that big lip, then rotate it around, hit it at another spot. 3 different spots is what I find it takes. If you break the bead here, here, and here, then the whole side is done. You flip the tire over, you do the same thing again. Just watching your 2x4 right up against here, and just break the bead 3 different places on each side of the tire. Once that's done, we're ready to move back in and get this off of the wheel. I'm going to verify that the bead's off on the other side of this front tire. They say the front tires don't take near as much as the rear tires to break the beads. I mean, really just deflating them almost does it. Yeah, this one here's not broke yet. Okay, so this is a better representation. I got it broke there. I'm going to have to spin it once. So just rotate it about a third of the way around or so. Like I said, on the front tire, I only have to do it 2 different spots, and I was able to push it out the rest of the way. So this one's completely, beads broke on both sides of this. Okay, so now to get the tire off the wheel, I've got a 3-spoon kit here. It comes with rim protectors. Got this on Amazon for, I think it was about $30. We've all been young and poor and used pry bars. Pry bars can damage your wheel. They're not always long enough. Biggest thing is they're just a straight pain in the ass. I've already used I just got these, used them on the rear wheel yesterday. These work out awesome. They're 14 inches long. They're rounded. They're smooth. So you're not gonna, pinch or cut your tube as long as you don't get on it. You're going to be good to go. Now it does help. I just use a soda bottle with Dawn dish detergent. Good amount of Dawn dish detergent, want this nice and slippery. If you put this on the wheel you're taking off, it does help speed things up. It'll slip out over it easier. And then you're also going to use this on putting the new wheel on. I don't worry about, you know, having too much on here. And I'll show you when I go to put the other wheel on. I take a rag inside there to dry up all the water that's inside. You know, you just put a good amount on there. Use your hand to get that down on the lip of that. Just slip your first spoon in underneath the wheel. Pick a spot a little bit farther down the road. Again, watch your tube inside there. Make sure you're not pulling on your tube, especially near the valve stem. First time I did my own bike tire, I also did a new tube. Don't know that there was anything wrong with the other one. I think I'm pretty sure I jacked it up. Get that down there. There we go. Once you get that far off, you pretty much just pull on it. Your rear one's going to be a lot harder. It's a lot thicker, so it's not going to be hard to get started. What I mean is you're going to have to use the pry bars or the spoons all the way around. You won't be able to pull on it like that. So once you get that one done, this is where you want to finish unscrewing your nut and get your inner tube out of there so that you don't damage it by accident, because we're going to be pulling on the other side of the tire now. So it's a lot easier to snag that tube. Let's take that little nut off the valve stem. And this is the original tube, so I won't be too heartbroken if I did have to replace it. Bike's about 10 years old. It's a little tight getting your man paws in there, but you can get in there. Like I said, just get that out of the way, just so we're not damaging it. Now we're just going to do the same thing, only now we're going to be hooking on the other side of the tire. You can see where I'm down underneath. And we're going to have to take smaller bites on this one. And so that's easy enough to get that out. Now I'm going to go refill my bottle of soapy water, and we'll put the new tire on. Okay guys, so I got my bottle refilled, got the tire here. Now a couple things we want to watch. You want to make sure you have the direction on the tire right. There's going to be an arrow right on it, right here. I don't know, see if you can see that. I think you can see that arrow right there. The arrow points forward. That's the direction the tire is going to be going. So make sure the arrow's in the right spot. The other thing you want to watch is somewhere on the tire, I don't know if I can zoom out anymore. Somewhere on the tire, there's typically a paint mark, a paint dot. If there's not a paint dot, then you're going to have something like right this, right here. I don't know if you can see this or not. See a little smooth, see if I can see. I don't know if you can see a little smooth spot. It's kind of just out here by itself, just a little oval, smooth spot on the tire. This is the lightest spot on the tire. We want to line this up, or the paint dot, whichever you have, with the valve stem. That light spot will get lined up with the valve stem, and that's what's going to keep the tire in balance. Now, when I first started changing my own tires, I did all kinds of research. Should I balance the tire? Don't I balance the tire? It was really 50-50 split what guys say. Ultimately, I sit there thinking to myself, the guy that changed my tire for years never balanced my tire, and I've never had an issue. We've got two wheels spinning. We don't have four wheels where we're going to have a left to right, you know, instability, nothing like that. It's front and rear. So I don't balance my tires. As long as you line this light spot up with the valve stem, I've never had any issues. No bounce, no vibration, nothing. So my vote, if you can mount and balance it yourself, you don't have to, mount and dismount it yourself, you don't have to worry about balancing a motorcycle tire. Again, I've never had any issues. So we're just going to take our, now I use a rag instead of just dumping it on. Make sure I get this all, get a good amount on there. sure we're putting the tire on the right side. So this is my passenger side here. So if this is my passenger side, I want my tire spinning that direction. So yeah, I've got this going on the right spot. I say sit there and make sure you got it going the right way and all that. You don't want to have to redo the whole process. Now I'm going to get my valve stem lined up with that light spot. I mean, we'll fine tune it when we actually get it on there. Just going to get it started. Go ahead and sit on it a little bit there. Get your spoon hooked up under your wheel. Now putting it on, you want to take small bites. You don't want to try and take too big of a chunk here. And you want to work left to right. And just keep moving around on it, keeping it seated. And there we go. Now, as you can see, I wasn't even trying and the whole front tire went on. The rear, again, the rear is not going to be like that. You're going to have to do one side and then the other. So I'm going to pull this back out a little bit. Alright, so now I'm going to put my inner tube back in, and now's when I want to verify that this light spot here is lined up with the valve stem hole. Now once I have my valve stem through the hole there, I want to put my nut back on, but I don't want to tighten it down. Just screw it on about halfway so that your valve stem's not going to pull back out. We still want the tube to have some free movement. Okay, so like I said, we're not putting that nut all the way on, just enough that the valve stem doesn't pull out of the hole. I'm going to finish fitting my tube in around here. And then starting right outside the valve stem, again, make sure you're lined up here. Make sure the light spot on the tire is lined up. Doesn't have to be absolutely perfect, but you want to get it pretty stinking close. And we're just going to start working our tire back on. Again, be careful you're not putting your spoon on top of your inner tube. I'm feeling for the inner tube when I got my hand down in there, make sure I'm not sticking my spoon on top of it. See, I gotta hold the second one on, or I'm gonna. Very interesting that your hands are all slimy from the soap. Alright, so that's on. Check your valve stem, make sure it's not pulled to one side or the other. Tire's on all the way around. Now I just want to look down. I'm looking down inside here to make sure my inner tube's not outside of the tire anywhere. Now the front tire is hard to stick a rag down in there to soap up any extra water. Lubricated the outside of the tire. I don't have any water down in there. On the rear tire, I'm dumping it right on the tire because you need a lot of it on there, and so I have a puddle inside my tire when I'm done. But it's easy to fit your hand down in there when you're done. With the tire standing like this, I would just reach my hand down in there, sop up the puddle inside there, and I'm good to go. So I'm going to tighten my valve stem down a little bit more now. My inner tube is completely inside the tire. I'm just pulling on the valve stem, pull it out a little bit, and I'm just doing this by hand. We're not going to tighten it down with the wrench yet. We're just doing it by hand. Now I'm ready to get that inflated. Nuts back in. Otherwise you're not going to be able to get any air into this tire. And just snug it down in there. I got my guts back in. Now I'm just going to inflate it until the tire seats on the bead. There we go. End of it came unscrewed. Keep your fingers clear, because especially in the rear one, it's going to pop pretty good when it seats. pop on each side. This one's not going to pop. I'm up to over 80 pounds. It's seated. So now I'm going to deflate it down to where it should be. And you can visually check and see that it's on the bead. The rear tire, the tire calls for 41 PSI. I run it at what it calls for. It got seated at about 50 pounds is when it hit the bead. Like I say, I'm going to visually make sure this is seated all the way around. Yeah, we're good to go. So now I can snug this nut down on the valve stem. Don't go crazy on it. It's just to kind of hold it in place. You go pulling on it too much, you could damage the inner tube. I got verify your tires going the right direction. Verify you've got your light spot lined up with the. So hope that helped you out, guys. Gave you some ideas on how you can do it.